Hey there, my name is Przemek and this is the review of David E. Williams' Get Me a Ladder, Get Me a Ladder. Do I need to introduce David E. Williams? I really don't think so. After all, he's one of the greatest songwriters, at least in the world of the so-called post-industrial music. But what's worth mentioning is that while his music is quite ear-friendly, at the same time it's not easy to classify somehow or pigeonhole. Respected by neo-folk fans, but the music itself cannot be described as neo-folk. Not exactly industrial, but having a lot of support on this scene. So what's David Williams' music? Let's find out. In 1992, he debuted with his promo demo tape called simply David E. Williams, and now after 30 years and several albums for such labels as Old Europa Café or Disque de Lapin, we get Get Me a Ladder. Get Me a Ladder, damn it. Look at this cover. How not to love it? It's like a fish lady from Lovecraftian Innsmouth taking the doggo for a walk. It's a painting by Gustavo Roberto Matteo. Then we have a booklet inside. Booklet with, of course, all the lyrics. And another painting, this time by, just a minute, Alison Lee Chapman. It is the illustration for one of the songs, Body Parts in Bird Baths. 15 songs, most of them quite short, being less than 3 minutes. I think the first half of the album, more or less first half, is more song oriented, so to speak. There's a bit of synth pop or post punk, but how to say it, he avoids the 100% serious approach to these styles. I like how the music was described in release note. It was described as orchestral melodrama. And yes, the songs are often somehow exaggerated, but in a good meaning of that word. I mean, I can easily imagine these pieces performed on a theatric stage with some weird decorations, etc. Being, for example, a part of some bizarre musical filled with a strange cabaretic sense of humor, some pop culture references, as David was always using them throughout all his career, and lyrics ranging from gruesome body decomposition descriptions through some abstract weird poems to the story about a man who invented ketchup. Lyrically, sometimes I think there is a faint Nick Cave aura hovering over this album, and his works and David's works in general. But the musician's mind wanders on more surreal and freaky paths, I think, the paths that may lead you to confusion or a big smile on your face. um, in the second half of the album, sure, we still have those melodic tunes you can sing with David even after one listen, but more experimental phase of the musicians is starting to reveal. Some noisier manipulations and darker drones come to the forefront, and a touch of anxiety sneaks into the music. It made the effect of Jonathan Kennedy, one of the guests' electronic contributions. You may know Kennedy from such projects as Dead Pile or Dead World, and his Relapse records involvement. Thanks to him, the tracks like Testosterone as Poison or Throat Wound turned to a more dark experimental direction. There are of course more guest appearances on Get Me a Ladder, Get Me a Ladder. In one of the songs, David uses guitar samples by the late Jerome Depp, his friend who unfortunately passed away last year. Then there are guitars by Erin Hertz and some field recordings by Jane Elizabeth. And last but not least, Nevus Lloyd James vocals in Body Parts and Birdbats, and Andrew King's in vocals also in This Is My Place, Last Seen, John Donne. I love Lloyd James' contributions on the tribute album, David E. Williams tribute album called The Appeal of Discarded Orthodoxy, and also his guest appearance on the album Trust No Scaffold Built on... It was a difficult title. Trust No Scaffold Built of This Bone. Okay, so I was really happy to hear his voice on a brand new David Williams song, which by the way has become my personal highlight of the whole album. It was the mentioned Body Parts in Birdbats, this one. Of course, there was also Andrew King contribution. He was also a guest on this Trust No Scaffold album. Andrew King, a British bard, tirelessly keeping the traditional British folk songs alive and saving them from oblivion. The song he appears in, also mentioned, the one mentioned before, This Is My Place, Last Seen, John Donne, has nothing to do with traditional folk. It was one of those more experimental oriented, but his voice gives it really a special touch. So, the summary: is it worth listening? If you're a David E. Williams fan, then of course there's no discussion about it. This is another set of good tunes, catchy but not cheesy. And even if you find some cheesy or confusing fragments, you may be sure that they used I hate this word, deliberately. Last few weeks I listened to this album almost every day, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it as well. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.